Welcome, everybody. This is the Tanya Hoffman's Fabulous TV Show. Yay! And I am Tanya Hoffman, and this is my fabulous TV show. And these are my fabulous guests, Miss Renee Dubner. Yay! And the fabulous Miss Shantae Taylor. Yay! And we're going to have a blast today like we do at every one of my shows, because that is what we do. Is why not have fun every day doing something that you truly enjoy doing around with people you truly love doing it with. And I want to encourage each of you to kind of step outside of your because I hear it all the time. I don't know if y'all do that. It's like you meet the people and they're like, right? Nobody,
I
right?
never do that.
Exactly. I was just meeting with a lady for lunch, and she's so adorable. And the whole time, it was just like, I'm like, just do it. Let's go. Let's make things happen. You know.
Yes.
So we're going to have fun today talking about transforming lives. But before we get going, I want everyone to kind of tell us a little bit about each other so everyone will know who we are. We've got our contact information over in the message area, so it's easy to click on. But I'm Tanya Hoffman, like I said. I just lost my voice. And I'm the CEO and founder of the Public Speakers Association. And these are my lovely members that are incredible speakers. And if you'd like to look at booking any of us today for a speaking opportunity or just connection, we've got all of our information on the website. So if you go to Public Speakers with an S Association, all spelled out.com, you can find us easily through there. Just put in our first name into the little search bar under speaker search, and there we are. So it makes it easy to find our social media connections, our websites, our pictures, everything about us so that you can connect with us. That's what it's all about. So Renee, tell me a little bit about you and how fabulous you are.
All right. Thank you for such an introduction. Well, again, my name's Renee Dubner, and I'm a spiritual entrepreneur. I'm owner of Mother Mary's Journeys, and I'm also a mixed media collage artist. This is my beautiful work behind me. And I am an energy healer as well as now a public speaker. So I love what I'm coming to talk to you about today is I love helping people transform their lives through getting their stress under control, because stress, let's face it, is out of control. So I love talking to people about getting their stress under control so that they can just live their highest life and be their highest selves. So.
I love that. Because, nobody's got stress that I know.
What is that anyway?
Stress? Whatever. Shantae, tell us about how fabulous you are.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Tanya. Your energy is off the charts. So I am Shantae Jovan Taylor. I am a neuroscientist and a success coach. So I am all about managing the greatest technology on the planet, our brains, okay? This is where our potential lies. And the more we learn to optimize it, the more we can reduce our stressors, the more we can optimize our peak mental performance, the more we can tap into our limitless creativity and really lead from a higher place, lead from a place of compassion and empathy, which our world is lacking, or we're not seeing it enough. And if we are under stress, if we're not doing what we feel we're designed to do, if we're not living a life of purpose, if we're not present because we're totally distracted or living in our past, we cannot show up. We cannot truly show up in our lives for our children, for our spouses, and really, show up as in our work as employees and be productive. So I teach people how to manage their mind and brain so that they can operate at their peak mental performance and really operate at their highest levels of intuition and awareness, because it's time for us to operate at that level. And I truly believe that the next stage of human evolution is our ability to optimize our mind and brain, because we now know and understand more than we have ever understood about the brain. And I think that's where we're going to go as a society.
I love it. So Renee's going to get you out of the stress,
Yay!
and then Shantae's going to take you up and make you go, whoa.
I love it. Yes. We're doing that.
So and then yay, you know, and then you just stick around me, and we're like, yee, you know, so we'll have just good time.
The triad.
Right, exactly. You know, because I often, y'all probably see this all the time, is, you know, I meet so many amazing people. They have done some of the most incredible things in their life, and they do not value themselves. You know, and then they get all stressed out because then they try to push themselves, right? And they try to take themselves to a higher level, but because they don't believe in themselves and believe how amazing they are, they don't accomplish a lot. Do you find, both of y'all find that's kind of hinders them?
Oh, absolutely. I was that person once upon a time. Yeah, we all were okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, the kicker is that a lot of us aren't even aware that we don't believe in ourselves. We're not even aware that there is another possibility, another life that we could be living, because we were trained to think a certain way. We're programmed to think a certain way. We're, you know, pressured to be a certain way. And as soon as we start thinking slightly outside that box, we don't feel good. We don't feel good, or people will come after us and attack us for wanting to be or do something differently. And we get discouraged. So we go back into our comfort zones or whatever programs that, you know, were running us in the first place.
Well, and I think especially as women, right? I think really women have this tendency to want everyone to like them. I know I did. You know, and, you know, this was me in 2005. So I got out of my way because I started realizing that I could help so many amazing people do incredible things, but I had to get out of my own way. I had to stop hiding. This was a picture of me hiding. If I'm hiding, then I can't go out and help people. And I had to be very uncomfortable owning who I am and what I can do for others. And that was a hard transition, especially the whole liking thing, you know.
We're trained differently than how men should speak up and speak their mind.
Yeah. Well, and even you see that in the schools. You know, I've got both a daughter and a son, and the girls are always do things together, do them as a group. Don't take credit for yourself, right? And the boys are like, dominate, go get them. And I see why we grow up the way we do, you know, because that's what society has pushed on us, even to today's standards.
You know, how I'm thinking back to childhood, and I remember being somewhat fearless in a lot of regards. I can't put a finger on when that changed. Some transition or transformation happened along the way in my adult life where I got scared and I felt like I wasn't good enough and I needed to shut down or hide. And I think I have an idea of when that happened. A lot of us have traumatic things that happen in our lives that really kick us to the ground. And I suspect that that's what I'm coming back from. It's like rebuilding a life after having something really difficult happen. And I think a lot of people experience this, and a lot of people shut down, and a lot of people need to come back to life, really.
Yeah. Well, and I think for me, I mean, if you saw, this was really who I was. It was a person who said, I can't, it's so much easier to hide myself than it is to put myself out there because someone might hurt me, right? Yes. And I totally get why I was that way because, I had been robbed and tied up when I was 6 months pregnant. I had cancer. I know, right? I had cancer, and those were the good things, right? Growing up, I didn't even know there were nice guys until I met my husband. And, it's kind of that, it's a defense mechanism. And I think for a lot of women, we do get scared. And then I think something happens in our late 30s, 40s, 50s that says, okay, I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of wearing this mask, because it wasn't me. So,
and I think
perfect. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I talk about that a lot when I do my speaking engagements. I talk about the crossroads that I had to come to change my life, because I was going 100 miles per hour, as a grad student, mother, wife, employee, and I wasn't taking care of myself. And at some point in time, I literally crashed into a pole, in an empty parking lot. And that was mine.
You crashed into the pole.
Yes, literally. And so now I go around the country helping people not to crash into their pole literally or figuratively.
Yeah.
But to recognize, and we all come to that epiphany, we all come to that crossroads. And then we have a decision. Are you going to go that same road that led you to crash into the pole? Or are you going to take it? Are you going to have the courage to go that unknown path, but know that it's your authentic self, and know that that path will unfold as you continue? And so one of the things I did write about is a book for Generation X, because you specifically mentioned when you hit your 30s and 40s, something happens. Mm-hmm. Like you have this awakening. And so I wrote a book for Generation X because we're kind of in this program where we followed the program. We went to school, we went to college, we had the family, we got into the career. But at the same time, on one hand, we were told that we can be anything we wanted. But just in case, go to school, have your family, and follow the protocol. But that didn't fulfill us, and we were left devoid of something,
Yeah.
And
don't you think also that a lot of times it's because we're trying to feel what other people expect of us instead of what we expect of ourselves?
Yes.
And I think that's where the courage comes in. I've met a lot of people who along the way who are like, man, I wish I could do what you're doing, but I just can't. And they're feeling comfortable fulfilling that expectation of what they think people think they should do, not what they feel in their heart they should do, not what their true purpose is. And I love what you said about courage, Shantae, because it takes a tremendous amount of courage after crashing into the pole or just feeling like you're at your lowest, where you're just on survival mode, doing what you think you're supposed to be doing and making everybody else happy.
Well, and I find too that most people, because I meet all the celebrities, I meet all of the big name speakers, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, that person has no problems," and I'm like, "Are you kidding?" I try to get them on my blab, and they're like, "Oh, let me check it out first." You can see immediately that their fear came back, so they're not over that. We still all have those fears. We just push through it and say, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Because our purpose overcomes our fear. They get bigger. The more we push through, the more we go on that path, the more our purpose and mission and talents and gifts get revealed. The more we get feedback from the universe, the more people tell us, I'm so glad you told your story. I'm so glad that you're talking about this subject. And we need that. We need that feedback to keep going and to keep pushing. So courage and confidence and competence is building up as we're moving on the path. For me, I spent 8 years studying neuroscience, going to get my PhD. And at the 99th yard, I was almost at the finish line. I said no. And
wow,
I reevaluated. Really? Yes, I reevaluated my whole career. And I said, I'm not going to spend 8 to 10 hours a day for the next 30 years telling people what's wrong with their brains. I am going to spend this knowledge that I paid for, it's in here, right? I am going to use it to empower people to live their best lives. And that took a lot of courage because I had to tell my parents who still have a hold on you, right? And I said, this is what I'm going to do. I had to go to my husband and say, this is what I'm going to do. I can't tell you what the outcome will be, but I know it will serve my authentic self. And that is the key to filling us up.
Amen,
and to really enjoying this life. Yes.
Yeah. And it takes a lot to push through that response from friends and family who are all well-meaning, who I'm sure love you, but they're going to say, you're crazy. What are you doing? Why don't you just continue in that job that's making you miserable, because you can collect a paycheck and get all your benefits and everything will be normal. Yes. What are you doing? And you really have to hold that dream in your heart. It's precious. And not let somebody put your light out.
And I think, too, with too many of our family and friends, because a lot of them they want the best for you. Right. But they don't understand you. I mean, my dad is like, people listen to you? They want you to come? What? People pay you to coach them? What? And, to him, it's just like, it just doesn't even compute in his head, And I think a lot of that comes from, they can't imagine themselves doing it.
Yes.
Absolutely. Right. So they project their junk on you, project their fears on you. But the more you understand yourself, the more you get to know yourself, the more you step into your power, you understand that that's their stuff. That's their journey. And it's not up to you to explain to them at some point what you're doing. Everybody has to come to their own epiphanies. And I mean, the other day, I had someone from my past tell me that, what I'm doing is, she feels like I'm making myself bigger than what I really am. She literally said that.
Did you tell her that you are way bigger than that?
Exactly. I'm like, as an entrepreneur, you have to think like that, and what it was, was her own fears getting projected onto me, because I am being visible. I am speaking on platforms. I am getting known. I am putting my message out there, and that's scary for people to see. Well,
and it's also projected on them because they feel like they're inadequate because they're not doing what you're doing.
Right.
And so a lot of it is like, a lot of it is like patting. It's okay. You could be you. You don't have to be me.
Right. Be as big or as small as you want to be.
Exactly.
I know. I have a friend that I let go. There's those friends that suddenly you're like, you are so negative, and when I made my rule that you have to be positive, you have to be nice. I was like, she doesn't fall in that category. And so we hadn't talked to each other probably in 8-9 years. And she came to an event that I was on stage for. And she was like, not only she was like, where did the blonde hair come from? She goes, but oh my gosh, I can't believe, because I used to be so introverted, I would not speak. I wouldn't say a word. And for me to be up on stage, she goes, what happened? You're funny now.
You released your gifts.
But I stopped trying to be somebody else, right? I'd just be me.
It's liberating. It's liberating to be you. And you know what? Just from the brain's point of view, it takes more energy to be who you're not than to be who you are. Because you have to literally stifle who you are so that you can pretend to be something else. That takes mental energy. So
And Renee, I know with I'm sure a lot of people get stressed out about that. Do you have like a technique that people could do that kind of like, oh, it's okay, I don't have to put on this fake face because I'm not going to be perfect then. People are going to see the real me, and they may not like the real me.
A technique? Well, that's a lifelong. I'm thinking about it because it's a lifelong process to peel away all of those masks, all of the layers, all the things you told yourself that you are. It's a process and it takes a lifetime. And I think the first step is just devoting some time and some awareness to the fact that you want to get in touch with who you really are and showing who you really are, and then being okay with it. Because as we talked about, it's scary and people are afraid to take that step in the first place. So I mean, it's baby steps, I think, for starting to take off the mask and show your real self, and then getting the acknowledgement from yourself, but also from the people that you love, that it's okay to do that, and getting the acknowledgement.
I love that. Do you find especially with the season coming with the holidays and the end of the year, and trying to get ready for 2016, I think there's a lot of people feel a lot of pressure because they may have not have accomplished or even started to accomplish what they wanted to do in 2015, and here 2016 is already here.
That is so stressful. Yes, I think the biggest thing that you can tell yourself is it's okay. I have today, yes, the last 11 months have just passed, and I might not have gotten to all 20 things on my list that I wanted to accomplish, or maybe that one really huge goal that I wanted to accomplish, but it's okay. Life goes on. Tomorrow's a new day. I've got this moment. That's what you do have. And I think it's really reassuring to know that it's okay. And just let it go. Let it go.
Yeah.
What's the worst thing that could happen if you let it go?
Yes.
It's all right.
What is the worst thing? Absolutely. Yeah. And we have to learn to be flexible with ourselves.
Right. And give us some love. Give ourselves some love.
Absolutely. And I like what you said about, acknowledging the things that you have done. Mm-hmm. We need to celebrate the small wins, the medium wins, and the big wins. If we only wait to celebrate the big wins, we'll get discouraged before we get there. We need those small wins, those small bursts of endorphins in our brain so we can keep moving towards that goal. It's so important.
Yeah, and the thing is too, I got this message through meditation. I was meditating on stress. Like, what do I say about stress to people? What do I say? And I heard, you only have this one life, and if you wait to congratulate yourself until you finished all 20 things on your list, you might be dead. The message is, how do you want to spend this one life? Do you want to spend it stressed out of your mind? Do you want to spend it with your face in your phone? Or do you want to enjoy moments with people who are important to you, present right now? Mm-hmm. Put in those terms, that's pretty huge. How do you want to spend this life?
I love you said that.
It's precious.
Because I see people all the time. Today I had to, because I'm leaving, to go to California to speak, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I need some hair shampoo, and I need, you got this little list of things. You're like, I forgot to go get it. So I ran into Target, and I saw all these people that were stressed out. Right? They had their babies in their baby carriage and they're running around the store, and you could tell they weren't living the moment. They weren't enjoying. There was a few people that were enjoying what they were doing. You could just tell. And there were just people that, they didn't even, I always I want to look as good as I could look every day because, why not? This is the one day I get to look good, so I might as well look good, right? Even going to Target, I'm going to dress up. I'm going to look good walking around Target. So, but I see a lot of people, they just like throw it away. They throw away the day. Oh, today it doesn't matter. I'm like, today matters like huge.
Right.
Absolutely. Yeah, every day matters huge. Yeah. Every minute.
And there's things that people could do not to stress out. Like, I realized when I took my children to the grocery store, I was very tense. I was stressed out. So I stopped taking my children to the grocery store. It was just as simple as that, you know? And then when they
Exactly.
got older, I would take them to the grocery store and realize how at peace I was
Yeah.
because I had trained myself to be peaceful because I wasn't taking them before. You know, I mean, there's things that we can
Exactly.
do. And then when we're having those challenging moments, and I've had plenty, I'm sure you have too.
Yeah.
What brings me back to center is I say, you know what? I am good right now.
Oh, I love that.
In this moment, I am healthy. I'm able to breathe. You know, I'm not in a hospital. My loved ones are here. I have food. I have shelter. In this moment, I am okay. I'm great. I'm better than okay. And that melts away. I can feel my levels of stress go down. My worries go down. Because
I
when you're
love
in that
that.
moment, they melt away.
I wanted to piggyback on something you said. Taking your children to the grocery store stressed you out, so you decided not to take them anymore. And that's you touched on something that I like to tell people about stress. You always have choice. If something stresses you out, think about a way that it's not going to stress you out as much anymore or at all anymore. And the holidays are a perfect time for that because holidays are a time, it's a really beautiful time of the year. You know, there's a lot to enjoy. You can enjoy the lights, you can enjoy the music, you can enjoy the joy of it all, the beauty of it all. But we allow ourselves to get stressed out by parties. Maybe you have to bring uh, something, you have to bring a dish to a party. Oh, I'm going to try to bring the most gourmet, best dish I can find in my cookbook. Well, okay, why not make a choice to bring something easy? Go find the easiest recipe you
Right.
can make. Or if putting up the tree is a chore, scale it back. It doesn't have to be a Decorator magazine extravaganza. You know, make a choice. Make a choice to be easy on yourself and enjoy the season. So we always have choices.
Exactly. And I think, especially in business, what I find a lot of people do is they overcomplicate their life, right? They overcomplicate what could be simplified. And they don't hire people enough to do the things or to teach them things quick enough. Like Shantae was going to an event and she's like, Tanya, I need your help. I need you. And I was like, okay, calm down. Let's meet. Let's get a game plan. So it's about taking that game plan and helping someone, having someone help you move through it. And it just relieves things, even if it doesn't work out exactly as it's planned. At least you've eliminated that stress that it's, that you don't even have a game plan, right?
Yes, absolutely. It's doable.
So if y'all are
And
stressed out there, get Renee to help you, right? If you're like, I don't know what to do with this brain, get Shantae to help you.
Yes.
well, we talk about going our own way, going our own path, and know that that path is going to get bumpy, it's going to get rough. And one of the key ways to make sure that you reduce your stressors and continue on that path is to immerse your mind around other like minds. I mean, it's
Yes.
it's like when you're going on this journey of self, you cannot afford negativity. You cannot afford naysayers because you got enough of that going internally. You don't need extra, okay? And it's like learning a new language. When you're learning
Yes.
your true self, it's like learning a new language. And the best way to learn a new language is to go to that country and immerse yourself in the culture and eat the food and just talk it 24 hours a day. Same thing with going on our own personal journey. We need to immerse our minds, immerse our emotions, immerse ourselves in the culture of other people who are also trying to find themselves and who will encourage you and lift you up and who are entrepreneurs or whatever you're doing because you need that energy to protect
Well, and I
yourself.
think a lot of times
Excellent point.
we try to figure out, if we meet somebody and they're not totally aligned, right? You don't agree with everything. Guess what? You don't have to agree with everything that they have to say. And
Right.
it's interesting to me because you see all these debates going on of people going, well, they do this or they tried that and that didn't think. Who cares? Let it go. People get so stuck on that everyone's got to be in complete alignment with them. You're putting too much on yourself to try to fit in, and I think that's that fitting in issue that a lot of people have.
And it's taking it personally. That's something that I really had to let go in my life, is taking things personally.
Yes.
Whether it's something that somebody said or something they did. They probably weren't even conscious of what they said or did.
Yes.
But I was reading all sorts of things into it, and I was taking it personally.
Get an email, and you send an email, and someone reads it, and they're flipping out, and I'm like, I didn't say that. Well, and they completely read it differently than what you totally meant.
Yeah. So quit taking it personally. It's hard to do, but it's so important, because then if you take it personally, it's like you're carrying all this baggage around that you don't need to be carrying. It's like carrying a big steamer trunk on your shoulder, maybe one on both shoulders.
When I'm connecting, I'm going, say, even for the public speakers conference coming up, the fabulous Mr. Tim Gillette is in the audience today. Yay, Tim! And one of the things that we have a hard time with is not reaching out and really developing really awesome relationships with people. So you see somebody, well, if you don't actually get to know them, how are you ever going to develop that relationship that you need? And so many people want to have a business where they're in business by themselves. And I'm like, why would you do that when there's so many amazing people that can connect you, refer you, give you great advice, give you information? You can hire them, they can hire you. I mean, it all just works really nice that way.
Absolutely. I think we overthink things too, and that causes us not to move forward. I mean, just today I was connected with someone on Facebook, and he posted how he's traveling to Austin to do this, speaking at this association. And I said, hey, how long are you in town for? Maybe we could get coffee. So after this lab, I'm going to meet somebody for coffee, It's spur of the moment. But my logical brain that I've used a lot in the past would have overanalyzed, would have tried to weigh the pros and cons, would have, thought of all these reasons why I can't reach out to this person and go have a cup of coffee. But now that I'm tuning into my right side, Renee, the creative brain, I'm just like, look, go for it. Expand your mind, expand your network, right, Tanya? And just go for it. I'm all for the going for it.
And sometimes things happen that's not the greatest. For example, I'll give you all a great example. So 2 days ago, I had my blab show, and one of the people that was supposed to be on, one of my guests, had a vet emergency. Something happened to her puppy or kitty or something, so she couldn't be on. The other gentleman was having a really hard time getting in, and he was just really frustrated, and he couldn't get in. So I just saw that there was one of Fox Buyer was in the audience. I'm like, hey, Fox, come on in. And so he came in, we were chatting and everything, and I started the recording, and then another guy popped in, and he was like, hey, you see, he was like wanting to join the scene. I'm like, well, maybe he has a question. Maybe this would be good. So I just clicked on it. It was, I don't know if he was totally naked, just letting you know, but from this part up, no, and he was like, hey, I'm from South Africa, and I'm like, okay, goodbye. So just saying, sometimes things happen, just blow it off, let it go. And then it's funny afterwards. Both Fox and I were like, what in the world?
But if you never do stuff, the probability of you getting to the good stuff will never happen. I mean, you got to get through the, unfortunate stuff. Or
their experiences. So worried.
Yes.
They get stressed out, right? Because they want to make everything just right. And it takes too much on you. If you give it off, and that's what it was so hard for me, because, I used to be a perfectionist because that's the way I grew up. My dad wanted everything just right, and once I just went, if I get there instead of there, people know what there I mean, and they don't care that much anyways. And if they do care, they can go away.
You hit on something that I also like to talk about when I talk about stress, and that's perfectionism. Oh, we've got to
What
let
is
this
that?
go. It's not a good thing. Perfectionism, it's not a good thing. I'm going to put up a billboard.
Well,
Perfectionism is born out of fear.
that's why I've got one of my rules. You can't be perfect, right? Only nice
Right.
people and only imperfect people, please. So if you're going to join the Public Speakers Association, there's your 2 rules for you. And I'm actually going to be launching a 3rd rule. I'm going to have a whole contest. So keep an eye out on social media because I'm going to be posting it through there. And you can win a free ticket to the conference this year. So because I always see what just irritates the heck out of me. And I'm like, new rules coming on. But yeah, the perfection thing keeps people from being a most amazing person that they can be. Because I see people like, oh, well, I can't be on your summit next month, or, I can't do it yet because I don't have my presentation done. I'm like, well, just give 3 things, do it, get used to talking. It's all about talking. And they won't do it. I'm like, well,
You know what gets me on the stage is that it's not about me.
Right.
People get anxiety, they get fear and all that. And yeah, that will come up. But then I changed my perception. I said that it's about my message. Somebody out there needs to hear what I have to say. And I don't know how it's going to move people, but I'm just going to say it because I am the messenger. Okay. And that gets me out of myself and gets me into that giving value mode. So when people start changing their mindsets about perfectionism, about getting on the stage, about whatever fear that they have, they'll start doing more and more, and they'll start showing up more and more, and their authentic selves will keep being revealed. If you don't do stuff, your authentic self is never going to come out. It's never going to show. Your gifts and talents won't come out.
Well, it's also for entrepreneurs. We don't have, got an echo going on. One of the things that I see for entrepreneurs, especially because the big companies have time to do market research. For us, we don't have that. What we do have is market research, is speaking. You can speak in front of 20, 30 people and immediately get feedback. What do they like? What they don't like? What did I say? What did I not say? What did they, what story did they go, ooh, and other stories that they were blank on? You immediately find out what works and what doesn't. And it's brilliant. So if y'all have a business, there is nothing more effective for your business than speaking.
Absolutely.
So, there you go. So I know, Shantae, you were, saying that, a lot of people are, do you find that people are just kind of stuck in their heads and, or are they too, how do you kind of explain, that paradigm shift, I guess?
Well, we are wired for fear. Okay. We have 3 levels. I mean, literally, we have 3 levels of our brain, and in the middle is this fear brain, our emotional brain. And we're 5 times more sensitive to threat and fear than reward and doing stuff that's good. Okay. And that served us in the primitive days, right? When we were running from lions and tigers and bears, right? But in modern times, getting on that stage or starting that new career or having that tough conversation is working on the same circuitry that uses to run from a bear. So in modern times, just knowing that we're more wired for fear should change our perception about, hey, I'm living off of this primitive state of mind. Let me back it up. Having this conversation is not the same as running from a bear. This conversation is going to be empowering. Changing my career is using my gifts and talents and will really fill me up in a way that this other job is not going to. And then that's when you start moving that energy at the more advanced part of the brain called the prefrontal cortex, which we should be using predominantly anyways. But so many of us are operating at those lower instinctive levels unconsciously. And we need to become aware to start really rewiring our brains and our thoughts and our mindsets for to operate at our higher selves, to, overcome those fears. And it takes time, but every time we make the choice to get on the stage, every time we stand in our truth and say, you know what, you may not understand what I'm doing, but in time you will. So I'm not going to change for you. Every time you say those empowering things and do those empowering things, you start to rewire your brain for success, for automatic positive thinking, for confidence. So people don't know that you are literally changing the chemistry of your brain, changing the way your brain automatically thinks every time you make those bold emotional moves. Emotions are important. They seal those mental habits in. So the more good you feel, the more strongly you feel it, and the more conviction you have about where you're going, the more you're going to establish those mental maps and change your mindset on that level that you can operate from. So
it's perfect explanation, because a lot of times when people are wanting to be a speaker, they're standing in the front and they see the eyeballs, right? And they don't realize that what people are feeding off of is the energy that you're pushing out, right? And that was a big shocker for me, because I thought, I just need to give them more info. And, in 5 minutes, their eyes are rolling in the back of their head because there's so much info, and they can't absorb that kind of, and I was making them feel bad. So then they didn't want to do anything. And so it was like one of those moments in 2008. It was kind of the moment that I was like, it was kind of a shift for me, because I still had doubts about how awesome I was. I know it's hard to believe, but, I still had low self-esteem, even though I was hugely connected in the Austin market as one of the networking queens. And I was nominated for the eWomen Network, their Business Matchmaker of the Year. So I go to the conference, and it ends up being one of the most embarrassing moments of my life. And I was like, okay, a lot of it, I have to admit, was my fault because of the self-esteem issue, and because I'm not very detail-oriented. So I get there, they give me a packet, and I don't open it, because I'm like, I'll read it later. Well, it told me to sit up front because I'm a nominee, right? No, I sit in the back. And then I'm looking at who I'm, up against, and I was like, oh, there is no way that this Tanya could ever win this award. I just totally discounted it. When they called out Tanya, and then they always pause to saying Tanya and Hoffman, because they always want to say Tanya Harding.
Oh, yikes.
And so, so when they say Tanya, the first thing that popped into my mind wasn't, oh my gosh, I won. The first thing that popped into my mind was, oh my gosh, was there another Tanya? This is how little I thought of myself, and how little I thought that I would even win this award. So when she said Tanya Hoffman, my friend that I came with, she was like, oh my gosh, you won. And I'm like, no. She goes, you better get up there. They're looking for you. Of course they're looking up front, right? They're like, where is she? We told her to sit up front. So I'm running all the way, right? Don't trip. Don't
like
trip,
the
don't
Price
trip.
is Right.
Exactly. I'm like, woo, little feet going, don't trip, all the way up the stairs, get my award, which is back here. And I couldn't believe it. Now, this is one of their largest banquets that they've ever had. There was 3,000 women and a few guys there. And
oh my gosh.
I know. And this is before my days that I got used to speaking in front of people. I was used to speaking in front of 20 people. And she's like, go say something. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't write a script. I don't know what to say. And I walk over to the microphone. Now, I couldn't hear anything because, when you get that excited, everything's like, boom, 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 boom. And I was just like, the adrenaline was enormous. And all I could think of was, oh my gosh, 3,000 people, that's 6,000 eyeballs.
Numbers.
I know. And I couldn't think of what to say because I hadn't had anything prepared. And this is what I said. All right. In front of 3,000 people after winning the Business Matchmaker of the Year award, out of 25,000 women, I was the winner. And I said, oh my gosh, I looked at the microphone and I said, I love microphones. This is what I said out loud. Yeah. And I was like, oh my God, did I just say that out loud? And can you
I'm
believe
sure they
that?
remembered you.
And then I said, oh my gosh, I want to have one-on-ones with every one of you, because all it's trying to do is kind of trying to recover from that, right? And people were laughing and stuff, and I'm like, okay, thank you. And I walked off stage. I was like, don't trip all the way back. And I was just horrified. So the next day I ran up to my room with my friend, and the next morning she's like, you're coming down. I'm like, I'm never seeing anybody ever again. I'm hiding from the world. No, you're not. You're coming down. And as I walked around, people were like, oh my gosh, Tanya, congratulations. I'm like, oh, thank you. Can you believe what I said? And they're like, I don't remember what you said. I just remember how excited you were. That's the moment. That was the moment that changed, because I realized it's not what you say, it's how you make people feel. And I have to keep reminding myself that, because I'm a little analytical enough to think that people want to know what you say. They want to learn from what you say, and they do.
Right.
They do want to learn something from you, but it's going to be the way you make them feel first that has the reaction if they're going to remember what you have to say. So
that's a great point.
That is a great point. I mean, speaking is an art form, and your energy speaks volumes before you even say a word, you know, as soon as you get in front of people. And we're built like that. I mean, most communication is nonverbal. So
and don't feel like, you know, a lot of people, the first thing that they say in front of this whole group, they're all waiting to hear what you have to say. The first thing that a lot of people are like, oh, this is my first time to speak, or, you know, oh, I'm so nervous. They express what they're thinking in their head. So don't do that.
Number one.
Anything negative in your head, let it go. And then kind of the stress, and even, you know, playing in your head, just what we've been talking about this whole time, is you look around knowing that 25% of the people in the audience automatically doesn't like you. And it's okay, because you don't like them either. So focus on the 25% that love you, because you like them. And they release that stress. And especially, you know, if you're going to go and start speaking into groups that, you know, I do a lot of speaking in associations and in areas that I may be the only whatever. You know, I've spoken in front of tech groups that were all young white boys. They're all in their 20s. You know, I'm like, okay, let's talk about me being the old girl that's in the room, you know?
Yeah. You know, put it out on the table, huh?
Just get the elephant out, you know, just let people know. I went down to, there was a beautiful event in Florida. It was a Haitian event. It was all these incredible African-American women, actually Haitian-American women, right? And they could dance. Boy, those people could dance. And I just put it right out. I'm like, hey, did y'all notice I'm the only white chick here? And they were like, oh. And then I was like, let's get over that. Let's go on. You know, so have fun with people, and they'll be happy with you, knowing that 25% doesn't like that you're there anyways, and it's okay, you know. Just let them go.
I think that's good. That's a good reminder about anything you put out there to the world when you're an entrepreneur, because you're already forging new territory, and you're, you know, conflicted with yourself maybe part of the time, thinking, oh, what am I doing? Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. But, you know, you put your message out there and allow it to be received as it's going to be received. And just, you know, going back to the point about courage, having the courage to do that. Mm-hmm. Just keep forging forward, keep speaking, keep taking the steps, keep putting it out there.
Yes. Absolutely. And I find people, because I get some really ugly emails because I hit people's fear points, you know.
You do?
I know. You're not big enough until you get hate mail. I'm just saying. So once you get that first hate mail, you're like, oh, I'm totally there. You know,
you hit the big time.
I'm big. I'm huge. But, you know, it's from people's fears. Whenever it has nothing to do with you. That's what we were saying earlier, right? It has nothing to do with you. It's their issues. Stop reflecting it that it's about you, because it's not. It's something that triggered something in them that they don't like. Or you're going to make them feel like they have to do something. They're stressed out about it. They need to go hire Renee.
Yeah, that's right.
And we don't have time for that. I mean,
it's no big deal.
That, like you said, there's too much baggage for all these people to tell you what you're doing wrong, or, just putting all this energy out that's not serving you.
Right.
I don't have time for it personally.
Well, and a lot of times people are fearful of speaking in the group that doesn't reflect who they are. So I was talking to a lady she's very holistic, and she has an opportunity to go speak to kind of a corporate crowd, and she's very nervous about it. And I'm like, believe me, there's going to be 25% of the people that automatically go, oh my gosh, I love you. Focus on them. Let everybody else go. Just focus on that 25%, and a few others will drift over. Sometimes it's more, sometimes it's less. You just never know until you get into the audience. But you find that one person that absolutely adores you, because you will always find at least one.
So what you're doing, you're teaching people how to set their expectations. And if we set our expectations too low, we won't be motivated and have the courage to do anything. If we set them too high, we'll be very disappointed if we don't reach that. But if we set it just right, there's going to be 25% that just won't like you for whatever their reasons are, and there's going to be some that will. So to me, that's the middle point. That's the Goldilocks point. That especially as entrepreneurs, we have to know how to set our expectations so that we're not too disappointed, but we're motivated enough to move through, the fears.
Yeah, and I think that helps with stress too. Just right away knowing that some of the audience is going to love you and some of them aren't. So just let the ones who aren't go, and stop trying to please them. Going back to that thing about perfectionism. You don't have to have everybody love you.
Right.
I mean, what is there not to love? But obviously, there's some issues, but,
Right. And there's nobody in history where people love, 100% of people love them. Martin Luther King, Gandhi. I mean, just anybody. Maybe even the Dalai Lama. There are people who don't like the Dalai, so it really doesn't matter. All you can do is show up as you.
I got some great advice about that, about your message and people liking you versus not liking you. And if most people like you, it means your message is okay. It's likable, it's good. But if this is your message, it's okay. Most people like it. But if you start to get closer to alignment of the message that you're really supposed to get out there in the world, more people are going to dislike your message. More people are going to unfriend you from Facebook. More people are going to drop your list and unsubscribe. And that means you're getting closer to that great
there
message.
Is nothing,
that's your message.
The best thing that has ever been invented is the block button and the delete button.
Yep.
So use them, There's a lady she was so funny. People crack me up all the time. And she messaged me through my contact form on Public Speakers Association, right? So she sends me a message and she goes, well, I don't know how professional of an association you are because you have a misspelled word in your website. And I'm like,
get over it.
I can't.
She's like, I don't think I could join an association that isn't that professional. I'm like, all right, then you definitely don't want to join my association because you already broke the second rule. You got to be imperfect. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm like, by the way, where is that misspelled word? And I'll go fix it. Guess what? The internet can be fixed nowadays.
Yes. Well, it's so liberating to walk your own path because you're not bound by other people's rules anymore.
Right.
You are a free thinker, a free being. I mean, you don't have to have a title if you don't want to. You don't have to follow rules. I mean, of course, there are rules of society, but as far as walking your own path and, becoming whoever you're designed to be, you are making the rules up as you go along. And that's that alignment thing you're talking about. Like, your rules keep changing. They keep redefining your message, your core. Because you're peeling away layers, old programs that are not serving you. You're adding in new mindsets, new energy, new friends, that will help you to see some of your blind spots. People who are in your corner, people who are showing that, hey, you can do this because I did this. Let me show you some tips and strategies. Those are the people that you want to meet along your journey to help mold you. We cannot do this alone. You will not.
We have to collaborate
alone.
Yeah.
You have to collaborate. Even like I launched the Career Speaker Academy and Renee's like, I want to be an instructor. I'm like, yes. You just.
What was I thinking?
That you're fabulous, and that Tanya would say yes. So, but it's about aligning with people that when you say you're a part of something, you feel good about that, right? I had to mute you for a minute, Shantae. Your speaker's messed up. Anyways, yeah, I don't know what's going on with it, but anyways, it's at the end of the show. I cannot believe it's already at the end of the show. So, Renee, do you have something you would like to give away our fabulous guest today?
Yes. If you email me, I'll leave you my email. And my email is Renee, RENEE, at Renee Deubner. And Deubner is spelled DEUBNER.com. I have 5 fabulous tips for gaining inner and outer peace. Because who doesn't want more peace? And peace is like the antidote to stress. So email me and I will send you my video.
Awesome. And make sure you put it into the little message area so people can just click on it.
I'm on it.
All right, Miss Shantae, you're up.
Yes. So I don't know how many people joined in during the middle or end, but I am a neuroscientist and success coach. And these past few months, I've really been focusing on getting focused, harnessing your mind and your brain to get it to where you can focus on the things that matter and get rid of distractions that are keeping you from your greatest self, from those important projects, from being present and all that stuff. It's all about learning to use your mind and brain better to hone in on your focus. So I am creating a challenge, a 7-day challenge for you to focus better. So every day you'll receive a tip on how to manage this better, the greatest technology on the planet, to manage this better so that you can get hyper focused to do what you need to do. So you can go to focusbetter.co, not .com, .co. I put it in the side here in the message box, focusbetter.co. And I'll get you signed up for the 7-day challenge. Get focused and dominate your 2016 and dominate your life.
Yay!
Focusbetter.co.
Nice. So make sure you jump on those opportunities. And I always have my incredible concert. Yeah, you don't want me singing. Contest that I run every month. It always pulls at the first of the month. So no matter when you're listening to this, if you're listening to the recording, jump on it anyways. So go to TanyaHoffman.com/win/ and you can also just go to Tanya Hoffman. It's right there on the front page and sign up. I give an hour-long coaching session, which is worth $1,000. So we would love to see you on that. And remember that Tanya's with an O and Hoffman is with 1 F, 2 N's, because my husband's family doesn't know how to spell it right. So you got to deal with it, right? So I hope everyone enjoys their day. Don't let this moment go by. Reach out to Renee and Shantae and myself. We want to get to know you. We want to build relationships with you. We want to help you. We all know fabulous people that we would love to connect you to. We are huge lovers of collaboration. I also want to encourage encourage everyone to get themselves nominated. We have the Collaboration of the Year nominations open right now. If you go to Public Speakers Association, so I'll put that into the things. Public Speakers Conference, speakers, I obviously can't spell at the same time, .com. Then you'll be able to register to be nominated for our upcoming local, national, international collaborator of the year. And so it'd be great. I mean, nominations are almost as good as awards. So get nominated for that. We also have a video series that you can do. It's an award for the best of. So you submit up to a 5-minute video. So they're just short little videos. And it's a story or a tip. So it'd be best tip, business tip, best personal development tip, best personal story. There's lots of different categories. So go check that out. It's also on the same website, publicspeakersconference.com. And we'd love to see you there. It's in Palm Springs, California, June 26th through the 29th in 2016. So thank you, ladies, for being on today. And thank you, guests, that have such incredible guest stars. So remember, look up the fabulous Miss Renee Dubner, yay! And Miss Fabulous Miss Shantae Taylor, yay!
Nice to meet you.
You're right. And I am Tanya Hoffman. And this was my Tanya Hoffman's fabulous TV show. And I appreciate y'all.